buzzers. Guess what? Coffee time again. No biscuits or cookies to have with it. And I fancy some. So, I'm going to make a big batch. So I'm going to make about 40 Cranberry and Raisin Oat cookies. Okay, so the original recipe was for 20, but I need a bigger batch than that, so I'm doubling everything up. So I'll try not to get mixed up with my quantities, because I've got them written down, but for the like 20 batch. But anyway, so you're going to mix it in a stand mixer. You can do it with the electric whisk and that, but you might find that hard work. And we're going to be using rolled oats. Now it gets a bit confusing when you get oats. You get rolled oats, you get oatmeal, you get porridge oats. There's not an awful lot of difference between them. It's how they're treated. Oatmeal often is something that Americans refer to as like porridge, whereas traditional porridge in somewhere like England or Scotland would use like porridge oats or rolled oats. The treatment to the oats, they're all oats, but the treatment means that oatmeal, when you have it as like a porridge, tends to make it creamier and everything. But anyway, this recipe uses rolled oats. So I've got here some nice British grown organic rolled oats from Hodmedod's. Okay, and in there I've got 220 grams. You're going to need some plain flour. Now I'm spicing things up a bit here, and I've got from Matthew's Cotswold Flour some maize bite. Okay, this is a sort of golden flour mix. Wheat flour, maize flour. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're going to be using that, and I've got that in there. Ideally you want to get that sifted, and there's quite a lot of that. 760 grams I've got in there, because remember I'm making a big batch. And then you're going to want 2 sugars. You're going to want some caster sugar, 320 grams of that, and dark brown or soft dark brown or light brown in this case, 320 grams of that. You're going to need 4 eggs, some vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate soda, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then of course you're going to need a shed load of butter, 540 grams of softened butter, and we're going to start by putting that into that mixer. And then of course you're going to want your cranberries and your raisins. Now I've got 250 grams of, I was going to split it half and half, but my pack of cranberries came in a 250 gram pack, and I just thought it seemed a bit of a silly thing to leave 20 grams behind. So I put 250 grams of cranberries, and then I've got 180 grams of raisins, and that's everything you're going to need. And I've got some chocolate here because I might drizzle some chocolate on top. I'll see. And the other thing is you'll want to get your oven on, and the oven is currently preheating up to 155 on a fan. So let's get baking. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creaming up my butter. Could do with being a little bit softer, okay? So that's why I'm doing this now. And we're just going to let that go for a few minutes, and then we're going to add in the 2 sugars, and we then just want to cream them together until it's all nice and light and fluffy as such. So that's nice and light and fluffy, and what we're now going to do is add the eggs one at a time. So just going to tip them in, make a mess. Put this on nice and slow. Whoops, put the eggshell in the wrong one. Goes in touch. And then we're just going to beat each one in, necessarily just scrape down, then add the next one, and so on, until all their mix are incorporated. But it's definitely going to need a bit of a scrape down. That's all 4 eggs in there, and now all I'm going to do, I'll turn the spoon around right now, is add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract while that's on slow, and then just let that run for a minute or two to get that in there. In the meantime, I'm going to take the flour, put in the salt, bicarbonate soda, and the ground cinnamon. Turn that up a little bit, and then what we're going to do is be adding in that flour and the rolled oats and gently mix all that together. Now you could, at this point, if you want, do it by hand. Alright. Finally, I'm now just going to add in the dried fruit, as it were, the cranberries and the raisins. And we mix again a bit, boy. We'll see how we get on. I might have to just, well, I haven't said that, is get the void in the middle. So we're just going to get them all nicely mixed in there, and then we'll be ready to start shaping the cookies. Now, I've got some baking trays ready with some, I've got my mats on there, but you can use baking paper. These will spread, and so make sure they're spaced out well. And what I'm going to do, once that fruit's all incorporated in there, we'll get it weighed out. I've already weighed that bowl, and that's 839 grams, so I can work out what weight I've got in there, divide that by 40, and then I'm going to weigh out individual portions for each cookie, so I'll make sure I get 40 out of it. And then we'll roll them and put them on the thing. They'll go in that preheated oven for about 15 plus minutes, basically until they start looking golden brown and firm. At which point, you don't want them to get burning, we'll take them out and just let them cool slightly a little bit on the tray, otherwise they're going to be a bit soft and everything, and then we'll transfer them to wire rack. I'm probably going to have to bake a couple of batches simply because my oven's not big. So as I suspected, my mixing bowl with all that in it was just too heavy for my scales, so I had to transfer it out to another bowl, and it's working out at about 66 grams per cookie. So now what I'm going to do is weigh them out, and then we're just going to roll them roughly into a ball, give them a little light press. Remember, I said these are going to spread, so make sure you leave enough room. So I'm going to get them on there. It's going to be quite a long slow breaking process because I don't think I'm going to get more than about 6 on a tray, but there you go. I'll get them doing. We'll get them in the oven, like I say, for 15 plus minutes until they're nice and golden brown, but not dark brown. Then bring them out, let them cool for a little bit on the tray before we transfer them to the wire rack. Right, that's all the baking done. Final tray's worth is just cooling there, just taking it out of the oven. Now, I had to revise what I said it worked out to make about 40. I needed 66 grams. And I did warn you, space it well, they will spread. They spread a lot, okay? So after that first batch went in the oven, I revised the weight, and I was doing it around about 44, 45 grams, and they at least come out a bit more of a reasonable size, and then they spread, they don't like start trying to mingle with each other. I also, rather than like I did the first time, rolled in the ball and flattened them slightly, I didn't bother. I just rolled them in the ball, put them on the thing, and they just spread, as you can see, naturally to be that size. So, bit of a taster. Might have had one already, mind you. So, nice and golden brown. Now they are very soft when you take them out. It is important you leave them on the trays a little bit, otherwise you won't be able to pick them up, they will fall apart. So they do then, as they cool, they sort of crispen up, but they are still a little bit moist. Crunchy on the outside, I say a little bit moist on the inside. You get a lot of sweetness. I mean, there's a lot of sugar in there. I think you get the sweetness with the raisins. But the cranberries give you a nice little tang to it. So, just beware of the size of them. I don't think I'm going to drizzle them chocolate. Originally said I might drizzle some chocolate. I don't think I will. So there you go. Your cranberry raisin oat cookies. Or raisin and cranberry oat cookies. Or oat raisin cranberry, however you want to say it. Cheers.